Yeah, so welcome to lesson 10. Also today we're going to be taking a step back from the program side and looking at how to interact with our programmers by looking at the client side. So there's quite a lot there. So what I want to talk about today is uh, what is often confusingly called Web3 and Web3 libraries. Uh, Perhaps a little bit less so now than it used to be. I think maybe the people have moved away from that name a little bit, but it's the way that we can write a client and do it in a reasonable way. So to give us libraries to take away some of the low level stuff that we would otherwise have to do when we're trying to interact with a program. And um, yeah, this there are different libraries. We'll look at a number of different approaches. Today, I'm going to sort of look at it more generally and give you some examples of some of the types of things you might want to do. Tomorrow, we'll look at some more specific frameworks that you can use when you're writing the client side. So let's make a start on that. Um, we do have a choice of how we interact, and the things I'm going to show you today and tomorrow are going to be using the JavaScript API. But you can use Rust if you want to. So there's a link there. If you would rather write your client in Rust, that is possible, and there's a link to the details there. Now, the one package we can use for this, Web3.js, this provides us with a library which we can then use to write a client. I've given you links there to documentation about that. What this is providing us, what it's sort of abstracting away for us is the JSON RPC API. So the RPC, this is a remote procedure call. This is what you would, well, what is effectively being done when you're interacting with a node on the network. And obviously that's done at a much lower level. So rather than having to work at that level, we have these libraries that we can use, and so we can write our client in this, and then that will look after all the low-level details for us. Installation is very easy. You can see there, just you can add packages with npm or yarn, um, and then obviously in your client code you need to import that. Yeah, uh, as usual. Now, one thing I'll go through the notes and then I'll actually show you an example. Let me just check actually that. This hasn't timed out. Okay. So I'll go through an example in a second, but I'll just talk you through the notes first of all and show you the types of things that you'll probably want to be able to do. And one of the very basic things that you need to do when you're interacting with a program is to be able to use a wallet. Now, so far, where we've been interacting with the network via command line, and with that, we've used the file system wallet. We've created a wallet on our local file system, and then we've used that to when we're interacting. So, for example, we got an airdrop, and then that was dropped into the wallet that we created locally. That, of course, that is possible, but that's probably not the way that you're going to want to interact with your programs. So a much more common way of interacting is via some web page, and the user will be interacting with some framework, and then as part of that, there will be a browser wallet which they will use. That wallet will be there. That will give them information, but it also will be used to sign transactions that are going to be sent to the cluster, to the blockchain. So if that's going to happen, then we need a way that we can interact with the wallet that we have. And for that, there are wallet adapter libraries available. So I've got an example. Well, yeah, I've got some examples here. This example is what you would do if you're interacting with the file system wallet. So you can see here you're generating a key pair. Um, Sorry, this is what you would do if you want to do this in code, if you want to create the key pair in code rather than relying on the wallet. So yeah, you can create a key pair, you can create this from some values, and then that will give you a key pair. The alternative is to use the wallet adapter library, where the key pair will already be have been created for you. You will already have the address, etc., in your wallet, and so you can use that. Once you once you've done that, whichever way you're doing that, once you've got a wallet set up and a means of signing transactions, then you can create a transaction and send that. Sorry, the formatting's wrong here. So remember the unit that of interaction with our programs is a transaction. We have to have a transaction, but within that we can have a number of instructions, and we have the atomicity of the transactions. So we can create a new transaction object that we're going to send to the network to interact with some programs. But within that transaction object, we will need to add some instructions. So you've got an example here where we've created this line here creates a new transaction, but an empty transaction effectively. And then with that, we add in an instruction. So in this case, we're adding in a very simple instruction, but which is using the system program to do a transfer. Transferring this many LAN ports, and you're specifying who it's from and who it's to. Okay, so this part here is an instruction. Sorry, that's the instruction, and then that is being added to the transaction. So at this point, we're just assembling everything. Then we need to submit all of this to the network. And to do that, we need a connection object. So that's what we're doing on the first line here. There's different ways to create that. Obviously, you can decide which network you're connecting to. That could be by name, as we've got here, or you could be specifying a URL. But when you have that connection, then you've got everything you need. So you can then send the transaction off to the network, specifying the connection that you've set up, the transaction that you built, and then also you need to provide the key pair, um, because that's going to be doing the signing for you. Okay. So that gives you an idea of the types of things you can do. Let me go to this though, because this is probably going to make more sense before we dig into some of the objects in more detail. So this is the DApp scaffold. It's now been archived. We'll probably get rid of it, I guess, and perhaps find another one. But it's been quite useful in that it has a very simple example of interacting with some programs and building a very, very simple client. Um, so you can try it out. You can have a look at the code, and it will hopefully give you an idea of the structure of a client, the types of things that we need to do, and uh, yeah, you may well use different frameworks, and we'll have a look at some different ones tomorrow. But you're going to be doing similar things. The overall structure, the patterns that you're going to use are going to be similar. Um, so there's the repo here. What I've done is I've set up a code space for that. So this is just a simple code space that I got running. So it's just running that simple DApp scaffold, and it if you do that, if you start it up as in a code space, you just install everything, and then you can run it with yarn dev in this case, and what it gives you is this as a client. Okay, and you can see it, looks pretty decent. It has some it has a thing here to allow you to select a wallet. So the choices that you have, um, it gives you a few choices for wallets depending on what it sees in the browser. What I picked was the burner wallet. So this is just a thing that it is a wallet that it has created. And then within the application itself, what we've got is it allows us to do request an airdrop. Let me see if I can. I did that earlier, so perhaps it's not going to allow me to do it again. Okay, I did it earlier and got, oh, there we go. Yeah, I did it earlier and got one sol, so it's not letting me do it again. Yeah, you can see that it's showing me that I've got one sol, but you can try it out yourself, and it should give you an airdrop. Um, Other things that you can do as well, you can sign a message, send transactions, and send a special type of transaction. So we'll have a look at these components and we'll have a look at the code behind some of these as well. So you can get an idea of how we can actually set all this up, set up these transactions that we want to do. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's running. If we have a look at the code itself, um, hopefully this is um, hopefully this is big enough for you. If it's not, do let me know. So all I've done, this is the dApp scaffold repo. I'm just looking at the different components here. There's different components for different things that it is doing. This one here is the first one, the request airdrop, the one I've just shown you. So to give you an idea of the libraries involved that we're using. So I told you that we have this that having a wallet adapter library is useful. So that's what we're using here. So we're importing this particular one here, the Solana wallet adapter React, um, and importing a couple of functions from that. We're using the Web3 JS library as well because that's got a lot of useful things for us. There's stuff from React, and there's also some utilities here that it's included. Um, yeah, so it's also got some other code that's including in this particular component. But if I take you through what it does, how it works. What the first thing it does is the use connection. So this is from the adapter library, the wallet adapter library. So what this is doing is going to the wallet and trying to establish a connection to some network. And so this is where uh, it will try to set up a wallet for you. If you didn't have one here, I think if I disconnect it, um, yeah, you can see it says select wallet. Can I go here? It tells me, the wallet's not connected, so it'll expect me to select a wallet, and you can choose different ones. I'll go for the burner again, there, and then it gives it has it once the wallet is connected, it knows the address for that. So you see that, yeah, that's setting up the connection. Uh, this is setting up the wallet, and when it has that set up, it knows the address of the wallet. So that gives us the public key. It also does this thing. It's got some code that will go and work out a balance as well. So it gets that. That's elsewhere in the code. And then the rest of it is pretty straightforward. You saw here the wallet not connected. You saw what happened there. Because I clicked and I didn't have the public key set up, then it told me the wallet wasn't connected. Then it's it for this in this case it's requesting an airdrop, so it can do that directly from the connection. So that's quite a simple thing to do. We've got this thing here, get the about the latest block hash, which I think I mentioned yesterday. I'll also, I think I've got it in the notes to talk about a little later on as well. But the reason for this is we want to know the the latest blocks that have happened, and this gives us this allows us to make decisions about whether our transactions are stale or not. So it's a way of sort of setting an anchor point for our transactions, so saying when they were introduced into the system, so the system can then make sensible decisions about the lifetime of those transactions and know if those transactions have been around too long, so that we don't want the network just being full of old transactions that are hanging around for a long time. So, in order to be able to do that, we need to know when the transaction was sent into the system, and this is what the latest block hash was all about. Um, this we then uh, send the sorry, we confirm the transaction. We've and this tells us that the airdrop has succeeded, and we can then notify to that effect, and then we can update the balance there. Okay, so very simple code there. Let me find something a little different. So the send transaction. This this is one of the other buttons on the second page of that app. So, but similar types of thing again. We need to get a connection. We need to set up the wallet, so we get the public key there from that. And again, we're checking whether that's been set up and we have the address. And then here we are setting up in an instruction. So it's similar to what you saw in the notes. This is a very simple transfer. We're just going to transfer from my address. So this is the address that we get from the wallet to some. This is just generating a value here, and then we're sending it that many LAN ports. And once we've got that instruction, then again we're getting the block hash. Um, we can create there's a little bit more nuance about the transactions. I'll go into version transactions later, but the yeah we can include that in a transaction and send that, and then wait for the confirmation there. Okay, and again we can notify that that has all been done successfully. Okay, so I hope you get the general idea that they're all doing very fairly similar things here. Um, but you can have a look through that code to see how it does that. Just to go through some of the other things that are available to you in the Web3 library, the abstractions that it provides for you. We've already seen public key, because this is obviously we need to have this. We need to be able to use addresses within our client, and uh, they we can do this by using the wallet to bring back the public key for us, or we can create one. There are different ways to create them. We saw, I think, on the previous page here. You can see how you can also create key pairs from some random values. This is doing similar things as well. The different ways to create it. And uh, to use the public key that we've got, putting it into base 58. You can see there the way that, and then to create an address here, we also can do that by getting some random bytes and uh, using this again the public key object to create a program address from that. Okay, and then another example here, we can go from a public key to a program address there. Okay. So yeah, different things you can use with a public key object. The system program, we've seen some examples. The system program is there to do sort of useful things in that rather than having to do these things ourselves, such as being able to do transfers of the native currency, and also it is available to create accounts. And you remember from yesterday, certainly, but previous to that also, we needed to be passing the system program account into our program when we were going to be creating accounts, etc., because it needs to use that. But we can use that obviously with the Web3 library as well. Here we've got this is similar to the code you've seen in the scaffold as well, getting the requesting an airdrop. And then this is details of how to set up an account. This is allocating space for the account. So remember, when we want to create an account, we need to say how much space is going to be needed for that. So that's doing that. Nonce accounts, I'll come on to a little. Oh yeah, I've got different notes down here, so I'll talk about that then. But that's another type of account that you can use as well. With all of these, what we're doing is setting up instructions and then creating transactions for those. Um, you can use this send and confirm transaction to do it all in one step, or as you saw in some of the other code, you can do the send transaction and then do the confirm later. It's really up to you how you want to do that. Okay. So I mentioned nonce accounts. What are those about? And I've been talking about the block hash as well. So the usual way that we use to sort of understand how old a transaction is to use this recent block hash. It's also useful because you want to avoid duplication of transactions. So if for whatever reason somebody was continually trying to send the same transaction in multiple times, there would be no point. Um, doing that if it really was the same transaction. So we want to be able to reject duplicates. But also we want to know if a transaction is maybe no longer valid, it's been around too long. And so to help us with that, we can sort of put an anchor in, really just saying, well, this is a recent block that has happened. So we know that the transaction is at least this old. So that can give us details about, or give the system details about the transaction. And if the transaction is too old, then it will get rejected based on the block hash that it has used to show its age. But that may not be the approach you want to take. It could be that you want to allow your transaction to be around longer, to exist longer, and um, not get deleted because it is too old. And so but even if we do that, we still want this idea that that duplicates are a problem. We don't want to have duplicates. And so this is where we have the idea of the nonce accounts. And the idea of a nonce, which is really just an index associated with an account and with that is used then with the transaction. I mean, this is very similar to the way that other blockchains work as well. So it's just an alternative that you can use if you want your transaction to potentially exist for longer for some reason, then you can use a nonce account instead, and yeah, use that to identify your transaction. It means you won't get duplicates, but your transaction will potentially be around for longer. Okay. All right. So that's really everything I wanted to show you there. It's just intended as an introduction to Web3, and if you you can go through, try out the, let me find the, uh, try out the different things. I mean, I suggest you start off with something similar to what I've shown you, where you're interacting with a wallet, maybe doing something like an airdrop, doing some transfers, maybe creating a simple instruction. Uh, if you need to know uh, the different objects and how to use them, there's a link here to the SDK uh, to to help you with that as well. So you can, uh, yeah, you got the this one is correct. Yeah, so yeah, this is the one we're using. But yeah, that's the documentation for it there. So you can check it out and but I would maybe try something like this. As I say, we'll go into some different frameworks tomorrow as well. Some more recent ones, and you'll see some of the other things that you can do. Also, we'll look a little bit more at the design of the client as well, and some of the best practices involved there. I hope that was useful for you. We've been covering a few different areas in the last couple of days, so there's lots for you to think about. We'll continue tomorrow looking at frameworks that you can use to write a client. That's all. So that's it for today. Thanks again, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks. Bye bye.